Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego. I got a bunch of people waiting, lots of people waiting for Diego to go live. Now, I go live at 7 p.m., but I'm starting early because I don't want you guys to be having to wait. It's bad enough you have to wait for this K1 visa, and then I'm not going to make you wait on me. So I'm going to start the chat early. And I am seeing September 2022 K1 visas, spousal visas, getting adjudicated, getting approved. So if you have a NOA1 letter dated in September, they started approving those now too. So those folks are at the 11-month window. And Janiela James, hey Diego, hi Janiela, how are you? Faith A, hi, hello Diego. Everything is well, Janiela. Miguel, Diego, any improvements on MVC processing? No. MVC still slow as molasses. We got to wait and wait and wait and wait. James Juan, hi, Diego. What's up, James? Carlos Zambrana, any luck on your welcome letter yet, Diego? Not yet. We're waiting. It's still early. We're still early. We've only been waiting, it's what, 70-something days? So it takes about 90 to 100 days. So we should see our welcome letter in September. First week, second week, right in there. And but thanks for the question, Carlos. We appreciate that. Kaiser H. Hello, Diego. Here's a question. So on the NOA2 welcome letter from the MVC, there is a 4-month validity period. Can I extend the validity period? No, it doesn't expire. Disregard that validity period. It's irrelevant. The immigration officer, the U.S. consulate, the MVC, and the embassy officer are going to automatically extend the 4-month window on that NOA2 letter because you're in the middle of an immigration process. Now remember, those NOA2 letters they're sending out are based upon pre-COVID, all right? Pre-backlog, whatever. So you don't have to extend it. It's done automatically. So if you're getting your NOA2 letter and you're reading the back of it, and it says, oh, it expires in 4 months, like my NOA2 letter expires in September sometime, it's irrelevant, okay? Because Karina and I are in the immigration process. We're waiting on the MVC to send us a welcome letter, right? So if it takes them past the validity date of the NOA2 letter, that's not my fault. That's not my problem. That's immigration's problem, right? They're the ones that are controlling this process. So disregard that 4-month window of validity. It's irrelevant. Disregard it. Don't worry about it. Christopher Stout. Hi, Diego. What's up, Christopher? James 1. I sent MVC an inquiry, however, no reply. Give him a week. Give him about 10 days to respond. James, I told them it was 100 days since my original approval. Well, you're right on the cusp right there. You're right there. You're going to hear from immigration. Today's what, Saturday? Next week, you're going to hear from MVC. You're going to hear from them. They didn't forget about you. They're just busy. Let's see. Whoop slap. Hey, Diego, I got my case number, but I found out that the Philippine cases are sitting at MVC for a month after being curated before they mail it to Manila and send welcome letter. Can't do nothing. Well, I can understand how you feel. Okay, whoop slap. Just wait. Be patient. Remember, this process is not a process for the faint-hearted. Okay, and you got to be patient. Janet Smith. Well, hello, Diego. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Janet. Andrew Bryan, does the beneficiary need the original birth certificate for the petitioner for the interview? No, just a copy. A copy is good, not the original. But the petitioner can provide the passport, the U.S. passport. Not necessarily, U.S. passport. It shows all immigration care about at the embassy interview is are you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, a U.S. citizen? Are you a citizen? How do you prove it? With a birth certificate. with a passport biographic page. Okay, so just get copies. But Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, you will need the original birth certificate for you of your home country. James won. Hey, super chat kicking. He started the ball early with the super chat. Thank you, James. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. Haja Elbin. Hey, Diego, I played September last year and we still didn't get our NOA 2. Well, it's still early. Next month, you'll get it. You'll get it next month, Haja. All right? Cecilia Gomez. Hi, Cecilia. Kaiser, Diego, so did you get any updates on the I-134? Still keep using the same form. Edition July 31, 2023. Okay, well, yeah, that's when it expires. Keep using that I-134. It's still good. Miguel to Elbin. They have adjudicated up until September 9 so far. Okay, Miguel is giving us good information here. But September 2022 K1 visas are being adjudicated. That means they're adjudicating visas in 11 months now. Christopher Brown. Hi, Diego. Is it true that once the NVC receives the file, that no action is needed on our part? That's right. You're correct. You don't do anything. You're just going to wait for the embassy ready status. Carlos Zambrana to James. Did you send a regular email? He's got questions. Carlos is asking James 1 questions. Cecilia Gomez. I got case number December 2022. When will I get NOA 2? December. Well, the way things are going, probably November of this year. Maybe October. They're moving up pretty quick. USCIS is getting pretty good. James 1 for that super chat. Thank you. Thanks for the reinforcement, Diego. Appreciate it. $5 for some milk. Well, look, I'm drinking some milk right here. James, how did you know? You know I like Mountain Dew and I drink milk. Let's see here. Nancy, Diego, my case ready on August 2023. Is it okay for me to make payment? Okay, if you're in the ready status, start knocking yourself out. Start getting it done. Sheena Anderson. Hi, Diego and Karina. Sheena and Christian said hello. Happy Saturday. Sheena Anderson, happy Saturday. Now you are in Maryland, and and Christian is in Dubai, right? Miguel to Cecilia, November. Faris Hassan, hey Diego, my NOA 1 was September 28th, 2022. Does that mean I should be expecting my NOA 2 soon? Yeah, next month. They're moving along pretty quick. This month even. Well, September 28th, probably next month. Jeff Mantalk. Hello, Diego. What's up, Jeff? Faith A. We got the welcome letter August 2nd without invoice number. I requested and they sent it to me. Now we got the invoice number, filled out the DS-160, and already paid, but no appointment available. Well, just keep checking back, Faith. Keep checking back, okay, at the embassy through the CEAC account, right, through Travel Docs. Keep checking back and see what you can do. You'll get one. You'll get a schedule. You'll be able to schedule it. Faith A, you got that. Keep trying. Hajaf, no problem. Miguel to Fasan very soon. James 1, I used the inquiry form. Yeah, there you go. Sheena Anderson, hi Diego. Me and Christian received our ready status online. Praise God. You are right. Praise Him. Thank you. Congratulations on that. Jeff Mantalk, high five for that super chat, James. Jeff, thank you. Guys, I appreciate the super chats, okay? I really do. I really appreciate it. You know, I want you to understand I do this for you guys for free. I want to help you get through this K1 visa process as easy as possible, okay? For free. But I appreciate the super chats. It's certainly a lot cheaper than an immigration attorney, right? An immigration attorney will charge you $100 an hour just to chat. Andrew Bryan, thank you, Diego. The embassy sent me an email saying I did the DS-260. Now, that's an error because you are going through a K1 visa process. Disregard the DS-260 information. You're going to fill out a DS-160. So when you get your ready status, you're going to create your CEAC account. Well, you're going to go into the CEAC. going to the country of your beneficiary's country, and you're going to hit immigration. You're going to hit immigrant visa. Okay. Don't hit non-immigrant visa, even though a K1 visa is a non-immigrant visa. It is technically. You're going to hit the immigrant visa status. A lot of people are having problems when they go to create their CEAC account and try to get through this process. It's because they're hitting the non-immigrant visa subsection in the CEAC. You got to hit immigrant visa. And Jeff Mantalk, thank you for that. And James, guys, I appreciate you guys. So when you get an email saying from the embassy saying DS-260, you don't do a DS-260. You're going to fill out the DS-160, Andrew. Ian Palmer Davis, hi Diego, how long does it take to receive the NOA2 letter? Right now, 11 to 12 months from the NOA1 letter. Cecilia Gomez, LOL, Faris, to Miguel, hopefully. Warrior Fitness Camp. Man, I like that. That's a great name. Warrior Fitness Camp. I just got my NOA2 approved. I'm going to be dealing with the embassy in Colombia. That's easy. I'm dealing with the embassy in Colombia. Typically, what is the timeline until interview and when visa issue? Trying to gauge a timeline. Thanks. Okay, Warrior Fitness Camp. It's going to take you, and it's going to take me, about probably, I would say, 4 to 8 weeks, right in that period, to schedule the visa interview in Bogota. Right now, they're accepting interviews for September, the end of August, beginning of September. So if you've got your ready status now and your beneficiaries in Colombia, you can schedule the visa interview in September right now, okay? So let's suppose that I get my ready status from the embassy middle of September. I probably can schedule Karina's visa interview in Bogota probably around the middle of November, somewhere like that. Oliver Gonzalez, 14 September, expecting my NOA2. Yeah, you're right on the goal line. You're ready for the touchdown, for the spike. You're getting close. Bud Garcia, hello, Diego. I got my NOA1 19 September. Okay, 2022. When do you think I should get my NOA2? Well, if you're 19 September, they're processing up to 9 September right now. So probably in the next 2 weeks. You're close, Bud Garcia. You're in a window, probably the next 2 weeks. Cecilia Gomez, when is your interview? I don't have, if that question is for me, I don't have it scheduled yet. Christopher Stout, to Bud, I got my NOA November 8th, 2022. So that's NOA 1, I'm thinking, right? Adriano, let me see, Adriano Moro. Diego, since my case has been approved, which documents my fiance have to take for the interview? Okay, if you've got the documents that your beneficiary has to take to the visa interview: original birth certificate of the beneficiary, proof of U.S. citizenship for the sponsor, police certificates from every country you lived and worked in for 6 months or longer, a copy of the confirmation page of the DS-160. Bring your passports, plus photocopies of your passport biographic page for K1, K2. Photographs of your relationship. How much, you've been continuing your relationship. Chat logs. Start printing some chat logs from your WhatsApp account or Yahoo Messenger. Let's see here. The MERV receipt. Once you pay for the immigration interview, also print the DS-160. What they expect you to do is to print out the confirmation page of the DS-160, but you need to print the whole thing and go over it and make sure you didn't mess it up. Read it over from a hard copy. Okay. Those are the basics: passport, birth certificates, your medical exam, your vaccination documents, your photographs of your relationship, your police certificates, your birth certificates, your letter of his intent to get married. You got to write two new letters of intent to get married. But don't forget those. Warrior Fitness Camp. Thank you, brother. Hey, high five. No worries. Appreciate it. Your videos have been super helpful. Well, that's the goal. The goal is to make this K1 visa process easy. Immigration and attorneys make it difficult. So I made it easy for you guys. Now remember, Colombia yesterday had a massive earthquake. They had a 6.3 earthquake. Our apartment in Bogota was shaking, and our TV came out of the wall. Everything started falling off the shelves, and a lady from Venezuela was killed yesterday in Bogota. Massive earthquake in Bogota, Colombia. Terrible. But everything is good now. Let me see. Fred Subkey. Hello, we received our K1 FTP letter. That means it's on a plane flying to the embassy. And now the application says ready for interview. Like what I said, in Sudan, in Juarez, Mexico, but we do not have an invoice number. How do I get the invoice number? Email the embassy in Sudan, Juarez, and ask them. Send them an email. Say, hey, this is my case number. This is my beneficiary. This is her name. This is her date of birth. This is my receipt number from my NOA2 letter. Although they probably won't even refer to that anymore because it's out of USCIS hands. Now it's out of NVC hands. It's in the embassy now. So you got to identify who you are through the case number, and they will help you. They'll get you through it. The embassy will respond to you. Okay, Fred, you're in the ready status. You can start communicating with the embassy. The NVC is done with you. USCIS is done with you. Now the embassy is responsible for your case. Haja Elban, how long the interview take after you get the NOA2 letter? Well, it takes about 3 months to get your welcome letter from the MVC. Then it depends on which embassy, which country. What country are you in? What country is your beneficiary in? Sheena Anderson, she will need a bank statement, pay stubs, a letter for your job, medical exam. Yeah, you got to have your bank statements, 12 months worth of bank statements. The financial side of it, the I-134. You got to have to bring to the embassy the financial documents, the I-134, the 1040, the tax transcripts, the bank statements, the letter from the employer, pay stubs, at least 6 months worth of pay stubs. That's your financial documents. I went over the civil documents. Andrew Bryan, I did that, Diego. Thanks a lot. My interview will be less than 2 weeks. I'm in Jamaica. Oh, fantastic. Beautiful Jamaica. I love Jamaica. I fly over Jamaica frequently when I fly to Bogota, when I leave from Houston anyway, in Texas. Jason Mabry, we plan to do all the vaccinations required in Ghana. Will they deny the K1 visa if we're missing any at the time of the interview? No. If you're missing some vaccinations, the civil surgeon will say, hey, you need this one and this one. And the doctor will take care of it at the medical exam. If there's only one or two, they'll take care of it at the medical exam. If you're missing maybe more than two, the doctor will tell you to get it done in the United States. But you got to make sure you get it done before you adjust the status for the green card. Because if you don't have all the vaccinations in place, you won't get the green card. You'll get the K1 visa if you're missing a couple of vaccinations. You'll get the K1 visa, no problem. If you're missing all the vaccinations, you'll get the K1 visa in the foreign country, no problem. But except for COVID, I think they make that one mandatory. But here's the thing. When you got to the United States, you got to get all those vaccinations done. You got to show the vaccinations for the green card application. If you don't have the vaccinations, you won't get the green card for the adjustment of status. Okay, guys, you understand that? When I brought my first benefit, this is my second K1 visa, guys. When I did my first K1 visa in 2016, my beneficiary didn't have any vaccinations. So I brought it to the United States and got them done at the pharmacy in town. And it cost me an arm and a leg. It's cheaper to get it done before I filed for the green card. It's more cheaper and more economical to get it done in your beneficiary's home country. Jacob, we are planning our flights right now. Hey, Jacob, you're planning flights right now. And yet last week you were having a heart attack because you didn't have any information about your visa. Now things are looking different, right? Your whole attitude is different. It's a 180-degree turnaround. Jacob, how many days after our interview do we get the visa in the passport? Takes about a week. You're in Manila, Philippines. It's about a week. James Wan, cool. Jacob, happy and safe travels. Janiela James. Diego, my interview is in 10 days in Jamaica. Piece of cake. I'll be accompanying my fiancée. That's fantastic. And don't panic about the interview. The visa interview is not difficult. You guys are in real relationships. You guys love each other. Everybody's happy. You've been following this channel for the past year. You know what the questions are going to be basically right at the interview. You got this. Janet Smith, hi Diego. After receiving the notification that your petition has been approved, how long does it take to receive the NOE2? About a week to 10 days. Christopher Stout, my earliest submission to the question is June 14th, 2024 at USCIS. What does that mean? That means that you can't question the status of your visa until June 14th of next year. But disregard it because they're speeding up the process. Okay? So what they're telling you, what USCIS is telling you, Christopher, is you can't contact immigration until after June 14th, 2024. That's what they're telling you. Sheena Anderson, Diego, I forgot to share that the Christian interview is in Nigeria, not Dubai. Okay, no problem. We'll be flying back to Nigeria. Well, that'll be a fun vacation and an adventure for you. Sweet Tea, too. When contacting the embassy consular, what should I say about not receiving a welcome letter? Tell them you didn't receive it. You want to know where it is. Ask them for the invoice number. Just tell them. My case was forwarded to the embassy in Mauritania, Senegal. Okay, so email the embassy in Senegal and explain you didn't get a welcome letter. They might send it to you. They'll send you something. Thievi Srey POV. Hi, Diego. I got a kid. Okay. And I sponsor my fiance. Should I list my kid on the I-134? Yeah. You got to fill out 2 I-134s. One for your beneficiary, which lists the child, plus one for the child, which lists him or her as an individual solely on the I-134. So you're going to fill out 2 I-134s, one for your beneficiary, and then your beneficiary is going to list her name. And then under her name, it's going to be the child's name. And then at the bottom of that, it's going to say number of dependents, 1. And then also you're going to do an I-134 for the child. Jason, thank you for clearing that up for me. Not a problem. Hajar, I am from Morocco. How long till the interview? Takes about 2 months in Morocco. It's not fast in Morocco. Adriano Moro, Diego, my case is in Dakar. Since Dakar, can you tell me about the embassy there? Dakar is because my fiance is going to go to Dakar, and it's in Africa. I know it's in Africa. That's why I want to know which documents she needs to take with her. Well, you got to bring the documents I just mentioned. Okay, everything I just said. And then Sheena Anderson reminded us also of the financial documents. So you got financial documents you got to bring, the I-134, the 1040 tax report form, tax transcripts, W-2s, 1099s, bank statements, 12 months, pay stubs, 6 months, letter from the employer. Those are the financials. And then on the civil side, you got to bring the birth certificate, the passports, the police certificates, the photos. Don't sweat this. You're going to get a letter from the embassy with a list of what you need to bring. The embassy is going to tell you. What makes a K1 delay? We filed July 2022, still no updates. We've been LDR a long time. COVID made it worse. Yeah, COVID wasn't good at all. Feeling a little hopeless and discouraged. Well, number one, immigration didn't forget about you, and don't be discouraged. They're going to get to you. Okay, they didn't forget about you. You filed July 2022, so there's about 200 K1 visas left in that batch that still has to be adjudicated. So you got stuck in the slow lane. Okay, you got stuck behind somebody in the right lane on the interstate who's backing up traffic. Don't those people just irritate you when you're on the interstate and somebody's going 55 in the left lane and you can't get around them because the right lane's blocked with other traffic and they're just holding up traffic? That's what's happened to your case. But they didn't forget about you, and they're going to adjudicate your case. They will get to it. Okay? They'll get to it. Sheena Anderson, to Fred, congratulations. Jason Mabry, do you have any recent updates on the embassy in Accra, Ghana? Yeah, they're processing visas in 3 to 6 weeks. They're doing pretty good. Accra, Ghana is got a pretty good turnaround. Jacob Myers, would it be wise to do the flight 10 days after the interview? Jacob, don't book any airplane tickets. Don't buy any plane tickets. Don't do any of that until you have the K1 visa in your beneficiary's passport. When the K1 visa is in the passport and you're looking at it and you checked it for spelling mistakes and you make sure there's no errors, then you can book your flight whenever you want, as long as it's within 6 months after the date of your medical exam, because the K1 visa will expire 6 months after the date of the medical exam. Teja Sweeney Mumadi, I am 75 days now. I have to wait to receive the welcome letter. Yeah, you're still early. I'm at about 75 days too. But, it's going to take till September at least. Christopher, okay, thanks. No worries. James Avanscota, how far out can you get your medical if waiting for your welcome letter? Well, it's good for 6 months, James. So if you get a medical exam done early, just remember it will expire in 6 months from that date. So if you don't get your visa interview within that 6 months, you're going to have to redo the medical exam again. So it's up to you. Do I need a copy of my original U.S. citizenship? How can I issue an original certificate? Do I need a copy of my original U.S. citizenship? Yeah, how did you become a citizen? Your birth certificate, your passport, your naturalization certificate, your certificate of U.S. citizenship. Any of those, just make a copy of it. Get it to your beneficiary. Juanita, good evening, Diego. I want to clarify something. American Embassy in Bogota, as per U.S. State Department, states that English or Spanish documents are okay. Do you have a source that has told you otherwise? Here's the deal with the U.S. Embassy in Bogota. Some immigration officers accept Spanish documents without a translation. Other immigration officers don't. So here's the secret. Get them translated. Get them translated. Okay? That way you're covered. I'm getting all of Karina's documents translated from Spanish to English. Okay? And we're going to Bogota. We're going to be in Colombia. Even though it says a Spanish translation may not be required. When it says may not be required, that means it could be required. So my source is me, and my source is telling you, you can do it whatever you want, either translate them or not. But me, Diego, I'm getting them translated into English. So that way there is zero problems at the embassy interview in case I get an immigration officer that says, oh, by the way, we need them translated into English. I got it covered. They're already going to be translated into English. And it only costs like $20 to translate a document. So I'm not going to be El Cheapo. Alman Namili, hi Diego. Oh, hey, what's going on? Bud Garcia, how long does it take to get an interview for Thailand? 6 to 8 weeks. Cecilia Gomez, I lost a job when fiance is getting green card after K1. What happens? I lost job when fiance is getting green card after K1. Well, have you applied for adjustment of status already using your tax returns from this year or from last year, excuse me? It depends on when you filed your tax return. And when you applied for a green card? Diego from Sheena Anderson, do you know Nigeria interview timelines? No, I don't. They're long. It's a long wait for Nigeria, but right now I don't know the exact time frame. Nice way, Diego. I need your help with something. That's why we're here. Whoop slap. Hey, Jacob, what drives the price up? 3 times. What drives the price up of what? Alahan Namili. I got case number by inquiry and my status is ready on CEAC. Will I receive a welcome letter now or my fiance from the embassy in Switzerland? Oh, you're the first person from Switzerland. Well, email the embassy in Switzerland and ask them what to do. Every embassy's got their own way of doing things. And I'm not familiar with the embassy in Switzerland. So email them and ask them. Jacob, I'm only going out for 2 weeks to bring my fiance here. There. I'm going to go to Colombia for a couple of months, probably. I want to get my dental work done. When I go to Colombia, Casablanca is scheduled on September 8th, but our case was ready May 25th. Okay. How long does it take to get an interview in Bolivia? About 8 weeks. Guy Trainer, I got a message saying my I-129F was ready to be shipped, then in transit, then ready status, all in 24 hours. Well, how about that? And you created your CEAC account with the info from the K1 FTP. You, Guy Trainer, you know how to do this. Boom, high five to you. You know how to do this. Guy Trainer, I don't have my welcome letter or my invoice number yet. What do I do? Well, email the embassy and ask them for the invoice number. Keep moving forward. Don't forget about waiting on the welcome letter. Don't wait for it. Start processing your K1 visa. Start moving forward, okay? And email the embassy. Fred Sobke, are we supposed to get an email or letter? It's an email. We are on ready status. It's an email. Denise Jefferson, Diego, have you had time to do a status video on Nigeria? I'm going to make that tomorrow. Today, I was wrapped around the axle taking care of some stuff. I hear some movement here in the forum with Susie and Sheena, but continue to hear that they are slow. They're still slow when it comes to interviews. Nigeria is still slow, Denise. But I got a video. I've got it already scripted. I'm going to make it tomorrow. Jason Mabry, I was happy to hear USCIS is speeding up. Oh, yeah. USCIS is moving in an 11-month window now. By next month, it will be a 9-month turnaround from NOA 1 to NOA 2. Nice way. Can you explain the schedule an appointment for an interview? Your request to schedule an appointment has been received. You will receive an email once your request is approved. What you got to do is when you get the ready status, you go into the CEAC account, go into CEAC, the Consular Electronic Application Center, okay, which is the State Department website. Go in there, make a password, go put your capture code in, look for the country of origin, and go into U.S. travel docs and start processing your K1 visa. Janiela, Diego, the place in my city that we do marriage license says we must come to do an emergency marriage license. My fiance arrived because they are backed up. Okay. Which county, which state do you live in? There's got to be more than one county, right? Florida's got 67 counties. I can pick 67 counties to go get a marriage license in Florida. Nice way. I don't understand this at all. Can't schedule my interview appointment or neither my medical appointment. Jacob said that not what drives the price up if you buy a flight that leaves like in a week. Oh, yeah, it's more expensive if you buy a plane ticket. Like if I was to buy a plane ticket tomorrow to go to Colombia, it cost me more money. December is a horrendous month time of the year to buy a plane ticket to Bogota, Colombia. December's crazy. It's like 3 times the price. Fred, I sent an inquiry through the MVC for the invoice number. I can't find an email address for the embassy in Ciudad Juarez. Okay, well then send an inquiry to the MVC. See if they can get it to you. Diego, I have bills. I'm not retired. I got bills too. I'm not retired. Jason, I'm counting the days until I visit my fiance again, making another trip to add to the validity of the relationship. There you go. Adriano Moro, Diego, how long it take in Dakar? Dakar is about 8 to 9 weeks. They're processing K1 visas in Dakar. Nice way. K1 doesn't have an invoice number. Some do, some don't. Try using the receipt number from your NOA2 letter. Woodslap, I feel for you, Jacob. I can only get 2 weeks off and we're going to use them when she gets here. There, you got to have time to get married, right? So we can get to use this place and start adjustment of status. Adjustment of status. When you apply for your adjustment of status, don't rush. Get it done within 90 days, but take your time. Go over that paperwork 10 or 12 times before you mail it. Don't mess it up. Go over it slowly. Make sure you didn't put your passport numbers incorrectly. Make sure you get the correct number of beneficiaries and dependents. Be careful before you send it. Go over it carefully. Mackenzie Owens, pretty bummed out not getting NOA2. NOA 1 was August 19th, 2022, 1 year today. Okay, next week, Mackenzie Owens, you're going to get your NOA 2 letter. How about that? Next week, between Monday or Friday. Sheena to Denise, thank you. Nice way. I did that and paid for it already. Understood. Pink Rose, Diego, I received invoice and ID. Both contain 8 numbers. Is that enough? Yes. Because some says it has to be more. No, 8 numbers is good. You're good. Nice way. It's not letting me schedule the interview. Click on immigrant visa, not non-immigrant visa. Maybe that's the problem. When you go into the CEAC account, click on immigrant visa. Okay? Then you'll be able to do it. Lots of people are going into non-immigrant. They're clicking on the non-immigrant visa, and it's not letting them do it because they don't recognize the numbers. James Van Scota, my fiance is in Vietnam, beautiful Vietnam. If afraid that she will not pass the interview if she doesn't speak English. She will be perfectly fine. Karina doesn't speak English. When she goes to her visa interview in Bogota, she will be interrogated in Spanish. But that's okay, because the consular officers can speak the language of the country. So the American consular officer in Vietnam can speak Vietnamese. So the questions will be in Vietnamese. Don't worry about it, okay? She'll be good. Nice way, okay. I explained it. Nice way. Check on the CEAC account and go in as an immigrant visa, not a non-immigrant visa. Janiela James, New Jersey State. There you go. New Jersey. You're in the state of New Jersey, but only can apply for marriage license in your city. Well, that's not good. How about that's man? In New Jersey, you can't even pump your own gas. I was going through New Jersey. I went to pump my own gas, and the guy screamed at me not to do it because he's going to get a fine. I'm like, what the heck? I pumped my own gas for my whole life. And now all of a sudden I'm in New Jersey. I can't pump my own gas. I thought the guy was having a mental breakdown. But that's New Jersey for you. Maybe you could move. Come to Florida. Yaha Conte. Hi, Diego. Yaha. What's going on, Yaha? Jacob is talking about plane tickets. Juanita, in reference to an affidavit of support for the beneficiary that received a conditional green card but then got divorced. How does the petitioner know if she was still obligated to support the person? Here's the way you do it, Juanita. If the person is still in the United States of America and they are not a U.S. citizen, if the person has been in the United States of America less than 10 years, okay? So if somebody, let's suppose you sponsored somebody in the past and brought them over to America on a green card, then they got divorced, and that person, the foreign national, stayed in America. That sponsor is still responsible for that beneficiary, even though they're divorced, for 10 years after their arrival. Okay? Or if once they become a U.S. citizen, they're no longer responsible for them. If they pass away and go to heaven, they're no longer responsible. Or if they go back to their home country. So if you marry somebody from a foreign country, bring them over here on a green card, on a K-1 visa, you get married, you get them a green card, then you get divorced, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, you still have to include that person as a dependent on the adjustment of status paperwork, unless they become a U.S. citizen, they've been working for 10 years, or they return back to their home country, or they go to heaven. Let's see. Mackenzie, thanks for the optimism. No worries. So Juanita, to know if you're still obligated to support that person, if that person is still in the United States on a green card, 10 years or less, and is not a U.S. citizen, then that's an obligation that continues. What are your thoughts on a prenup agreement? Do you recommend them? My family wants me to do this. It depends on how many assets you have. You could be a multimillionaire trying to protect your grandkids' inheritance. It's a financial decision. If you feel like you need to protect your assets in a prenuptial agreement, that's up to you. You know, it's your decision. I can't make that decision for you. In my opinion, am I going to do that for Karina? No. Karina's going to be my wife. She's going to be the second half of my life. Okay, something happens to me, she gets whatever I got, and I want her to have it. I'm not going to do a prenup. I want her to have whatever I have if something were to happen to me. We share everything. Okay, Karina has a house in Venezuela. The chances of me ever seeing it are probably zero because the United States government and the Venezuelan government don't get along. I would probably be arrested if I went to Venezuela because I was prior military. I'd be a great asset to the Venezuelan government for a pawn, for a whatever. Jim Oliver, hello Diego. We received our NOA1 September 20th, 2022. I recently lost my job due to health reasons. Sorry to hear that. I have a large savings account, though. Will this affect my approval? No, but you need a joint sponsor. Jim Oliver, if you don't have a job, if your income is zero, even though you could have even if you got $1 million in the bank, if your income is zero, I would get a joint sponsor. $1 million in the bank would cover you more than sufficient to sponsor your beneficiary, but get a joint sponsor as insurance. Okay, I am seeing a lot of adjustment of status green card requests getting sent back to people because they lost their job or their income is at 125%, just over the line. If your income is about $1,000 over the minimum 125%, I'm seeing RFEs for that, even though they qualify. I recommend you get a joint sponsor. If your income is $2,000 or more greater than 125% of the minimum income, you don't need a joint sponsor. But if your income is right at 125% of the minimum income requirements, okay, even if you have a house paid for and $100,000 in the bank, still get a joint sponsor as insurance. So my recommendation, Jim, is get a joint sponsor, okay, for the adjustment of status part. And also for the I-134 when you get to the visa interview. Neither IRS nor USCIS are able to tell me former beneficiary status. We don't know if that person should be still considered a dependent when the new affidavit of support is created. Juanita, let me ask you this question. How many years ago was this person in the United States and got the green card? How long ago was it? How long? Do you know how long ago? Was it 5 years ago? If it was 5 years ago, that person could be a U.S. citizen. So what I would say is if it's 5 years or greater has passed, don't count them as a beneficiary. They should be a U.S. citizen by now. Paolo Amorim. Hi, Diego. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I'm the beneficiary and I lost my job. Don't worry about it. If you're the beneficiary, it's irrelevant. Will this impact my case? Not at all. My interview is going to be in 3.5 weeks. Paolo Amorim. Don't worry about it. Immigration don't care if you work if you're working or if you're not working. They don't care. What they care about is how much money does your sponsor make. That's all they care about. Immigration only cares about how much money I make. Karina has a job as a manager of ice cream stores. If she was to quit her job tomorrow, that's no problem. I will support Karina. Immigration don't care. They just care about what the sponsor makes. Nice way. I just did it again and it says the same thing. Using immigrant. You went in and used immigrant visa. You got to send an inquiry to the NVC and ask them for directions. They should have sent you a letter of some kind on explaining you how to do this. Jacob, I guess I wasn't able to ask what you meant by telling me to wait to buy my flight. Don't buy any plane tickets, Jacob, until your visa when your beneficiary has his K1 visa in his passport, that's when you buy the plane tickets. Karina, I am not going to buy any plane tickets for Karina or our cat Tokyo until her K1 visa is in her Venezuelan passport. When I'm in Colombia and I'm holding her passport in my hand and here's her K1 visa, that's when I'm going to get on the internet, Expedia.com, and buy plane tickets. James, I did a prenup, best thing ever. There you go. James said, do a prenup. Make sure you are protected financially. There you go. James, you have it notarized online while your fiance is still overseas. There you go. Works out good. Carlos Zambrana, Mr. Diego, my I-797, that's your NOA2 letter. The beneficiary field had my beneficiary's name and also a 9-digit number preceded by the letter A. This is the alien number. Okay, that is the alien receipt number that was given to your beneficiary. You're going to put that alien number on the I-134. So when you get your, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you go take a look at your NOA2 letter. Take a look at your NOA2 letter. Look under your beneficiary's name, and there's going to be an A number, an alien registration number. It's like an alien number that's been assigned to your beneficiary. Make sure you put that on the I-134 when you fill out the I-134 for the Declaration of Financial Support. Okay, but the question is, can you use that for the CEAC account? I don't know. Give it a try. See what happens. I don't think so, but give it a shot. But make sure you put that on the I-134, that alien number. It's going to be on the NOA2 letter. On the right-hand side, just below the name of the beneficiary. Ashley Santana. Buenas noches. Ashley is in the house, everybody. Any updates? Well, we're updating everybody on everything. September 2022 K1 visas are getting adjudicated. The I-134, even though it's expired, you can still use it. Jason Mabry, once the K1 visa is approved, is there any forms to file prior to landing in the USA? No. Once the K1 visa is approved, and you've gone to the visa interview and you turn in the passport, the K1 visa gets put in the passport. There's no more paperwork to do till you get to the United States and file for the adjustment of status for the green card. And that's a ton of paperwork. And don't mess it up. You made it this far. Don't mess up the adjustment of status paperwork. Paulo Amorim, thank you. FMC, maybe you have already answered this question, but how long from the time of I-129 approval to the visa interview? Depends on which country, FMC. Depends on which embassy. Every embassy is different. It takes 3 months to get the welcome letter from the MVC, from NOA2. And then you're at the mercy of the embassy. It could be 2 weeks. It could be a year. It could be 6 months. It depends on how busy the embassy is. Jacob, I can't afford 3 times the cost for a flight for 2 people. No, I don't blame you. It sounds like the Philippines to me. Expensive, isn't it? Joe Atala. Hello, Diego. My NOA2 letter I got dated 6/9, but the online account is 6/12. What is the right date? Go with the earlier date. Go with the earlier one. But the only date you should be interested in is the date of your visa interview. The only date I worry about, or not worry about it, the only date I'm concerned with is what day is Karina going to be at her visa interview at the embassy in Bogota. That's the only day I'm interested in. All these other dates, these ranges, these priority dates, all that stuff to me is irrelevant. There is only one day I care about. And what day is that? What day is Karina going to be at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia? That's the day I care about. That's all I worry about. I'm not even worried about it. Kaiser H. Diego, is it recommended to do a premarital education course before I go to get the marriage license? Depends on the state that you live in. In the state of Florida, you can do a premarital education course and they give you a discount on the marriage license. And you don't have to wait 3 days to get married. If you don't do the premarital education course here in the state of Florida, you pay more for the marriage license, and you got to wait. Once you pay for the marriage license, you got to wait 3 days before you can do it. It depends on where you live in the United States. in our constitutional republic. I use our prenuptials optional. Yeah, it's an option. It's optional. Jason, is the alien number required to fill out the I-134? Because I was going to bring my fiance the I-134 next week. Put it, Jason Mabry, look on your NOA2 letter, and if there's an alien number on there, below her name, put it on the I-134. Include it. There's a spot for it. It says alien number on the I-134. That's the number that goes in there, okay? Paya, India. We also filed in July 2022, and we're still waiting for NOA2. My fiance is from India. How much longer can we expect to wait to receive an update? Well, there are about 200 K1 visas from July. No, it's about, right now, no, it's down. It's less than that. There's about 100 out there still that have to be looked at. So in the next week or two, you're going to hear from immigration. Remember, they're going to adjudicate your case. They have to. They're going to look at it. They just can't put it aside and forget about it, because that violates the congressional law. Congressional law is in place, and part of the law says they got to adjudicate your case. Niceway says, Diego, I don't know what is going on at all. I am lost. Okay, so tell me again, Niceway. You have your ready status? Do you have anything? What is the status of your case right now? Your K1 visa. Do you have an NOA2 letter? Do you have a welcome letter? Do you have a ready status? Remind me. Jacob says, I get 2 weeks off and the interview will be on October 3rd. I leave the USA September 30th. Get there October 1st. Do the interview, then 12 days left and come back. Kaiser, I live in Minnesota. Guess what, Kaiser? The summer's going by. Soon it's going to be winter. So it's going to be cold in Minnesota. Do you recommend that I do a premarital education course so that I can get the discount? Do it. Get it done, sure. And include that in your adjustment of status paperwork. You get a little certificate, right? Do the premarital education course, get your certificate of completion, and include that in your adjustment of status paperwork, because your name and her name will be on that certificate, right? More evidence for your green card. Nice way. You have everything. Okay, so you got the ready status, but you can't schedule the interview. Okay, you got to email the embassy and ask them for directions. Ask them for help. And then you told me that you have no email address for the embassy. They got to have one somewhere. Okay? You cannot schedule the interview for some reason. Maybe because they don't have an available interview slot open. Maybe that's what it is. There's no slots open. Is it blocking you completely? Jim Oliver, should I get a second sponsor before USCIS starts our application? If so, does the second sponsor have to show their proof of income? Jim Oliver, you only need one sponsor. There's you're the sponsor, and you're going to provide immigration with your tax returns, your 1099s, your W-2s, bank statements, pay stubs, letters from your employer, and all that. The joint sponsor, okay, is going to provide the exact same information. You, Mr. Oliver, Jim, you're going to fill out the I-134. Your joint sponsor is going to fill out the I-134. Your joint sponsor will provide W-2s, tax returns, tax transcripts, bank statements, letter from employer, proof of U.S. citizenship. When you include a joint sponsor in your K-1 visa embassy interview, when your beneficiary goes to the visa interview and you have a joint sponsor, your joint sponsor has to prove residency in the United States and also U.S. citizenship. Okay? But my recommendation is your joint sponsor will include a copy of his or her U.S. passport, naturalization certificate, 1040s, tax transcripts, W-2s, 1099s, 12 months worth of bank statements, a letter from the employer saying this is how much money your joint sponsor makes. You're going to create a mirror image for the joint sponsor that the sponsor is going to provide, the embassy interview. Jacob, you understand what I'm saying? I need to buy my flight to leave because the cost to leave right now is $700 per month per person. That's half in advance. Okay, Jacob, when is your visa interview? October 3rd? Buy the plane tickets. If you know the date is October 3rd and it's going to cost you $3,000 if you wait until October to buy the plane tickets, take the risk, my opinion, and buy the plane tickets and save the money. But remember this, I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm just giving you an opinion, okay? And that's what I would do because it's such an expensive plane ticket. But remember this, if something doesn't go right on the interview on October 3rd, if you got to get more paperwork, or if you got to, you got to wait for something, immigration officer says, I need this, I need that, be ready to change your flight schedule back to the United States. April Flower, are cases being adjudicated faster? Yes, they started adjudicating September 2022 K1 visas. Nice Way, yes, there's no date at all. So what I think the problem is with you, Nice Way, is the fact that your visa is at the embassy, but they don't have any open slots yet for an interview. Okay? So you're good to go. And all you got to do is you got to keep checking back and looking for an open slot. The embassy's not letting you schedule the interview because there isn't a day available. That's what the problem is. There's no date at all, right? Okay. So the embassy is telling you you have to wait for an open slot. Then you'll be able to schedule it. So you're back in the waiting. You're just waiting and waiting. But you just got to wait for an open slot. Marcos Rocha, Diego, my case is going to Barbados. Whoa. Just got the word this past Tuesday. NOA 2, 18th of May, 2023. Well, very nice. So you get to go to Barbados. Fantastic. Beautiful place. Paya, India. Sir, NOA 1, July 21, 2022. Now, I'm not a sir. My dad is sir. I'm Diego. Still, I have been waiting for NOA 2. How much USCIS will it take? How much time? In the next week, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, let's say the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to hear from the USCIS. There are still a few K1 visas from July of 2022 they haven't adjudicated yet. There's a few left, but they're going to get to your case. They didn't forget about you. God's Power Thomas. Hello, Diego. It seems Senegal Embassy is very slow. No, they're not slow. My case was created May 4th and filed the DS-160 May 25th. Still no date till date. No invoice to pay for my interview. So May 25th. So June, July, August. We're in the 3 months now. Yeah, that's not as fast as it was. Back in May, they were scheduling interviews pretty quick. So maybe they got backlogged with visa interviews. So just keep checking back. That's unusual. Email the embassy, ask them for an update. IU, we are still waiting on NOA 2. Do you think it's a good idea to do a premarital course or wait? What? Do the premarital course once she gets to America, in the United States. Jacob, I'll make sure to get the extra to make sure we are covered if something happens. Get flight insurance, Jacob. Make sure you buy you get that travel insurance policy, so that way you'll be able to use that travel insurance as a backup in case you have to change something happens at the interview where you get delayed a couple of days at the interview, or it takes a little bit longer to get the visa put into the passport. Why does USCIS not finish all of July? They're busy. Everybody's K1 visa is different. Everybody's got a different K1 visa package. It's not like a cookie cutter. Approved. It doesn't work that way. They have to do investigations on social security numbers, on police background checks. On the spot, they got to check all the documents. They got to make sure the documents are correct. They got to make sure that the date of the divorce decree matches the date of the divorce. They got to do it's a big investigation. This is not something that's easy. A K-1 visa is a massive FBI check on you, Mr. Sponsor, to make sure you qualify for the visa for your beneficiary. It takes time, and some K-1 visas take longer than others. Okay? Doesn't matter about the chronological process. They don't care what the date is, your NOA2 letter date. They don't care. They are going to investigate your K-1 visa package and what's inside of it. Okay? So forget about all these priority dates and all this. Forget about it. That's my brother sending me text messages in Messenger. So forget the chronological process. That's out the window. Focus on how strong was your K-1 visa package? Did you put it together properly? Did you miss anything? Did you forget anything? Okay. Denise Jefferson. Diego, in your opinion, is it better not to spend money on the process via police report, medical vaccines, etc., until after the NOA2? Once you get the NOA2 letter, then go ahead and get the police reports and the vaccines. Yeah, that's what I did with Karina. When Karina got her NOA2 letter, we got on May 30th. Then I called her up and said, I want to see your vaccination card. Well, she left it in Venezuela. Her mom has it. She can't find it. So I said, okay, you're going to have to get all these vaccinations. So she started her vaccinations and got like 1 or 2 a week. And then on September, I think she has to go back for a booster shot on one of these vaccines, and she's done. But we waited until the NOA2 letter until we started doing that. Denise, I hope that answered your question. Wait till the NOA2 letter. Let's see here. Lovely Dantes. I got approved on May 10th, 2023. How long will it take NVC to send me the welcome letter? 3 months, 100 days, 90 days, somewhere in there. So May 10th. So by the end of this month, beginning of September, you should hear from the National Visa Center. Jacob, will do. There you go, Jacob. I'm glad you've learned a lot from this channel, and you've accomplished a lot, and you've reached a goal. Now you have a visa interview, right? You're doing good. Guy Trainer, my fiance isn't sure what vaccines she has gotten over the years. How can she find out? She's in the Dominican Republic. Well, there's 2 things. She can get a titleist test, which is a blood test, and that will tell her what antibodies are in her blood. And the antibodies will tell the doctor what vaccinations she's had. So get a titleist test at the pharmacy. That's one way to do it. Karina was going to do a titleist test in Bogota, but the titleist test costs just as much money as getting the vaccines. I think it was like $400 for me to get all the vaccines, and it was $400 for the titleist test. So I told her just to get all the vaccines, so that way we knew she was covered. So she's got all her vaccines done. Cost me $400. It would have cost me $1,000 in the United States to do that, what we did in Colombia. What else? Hello, Diego. Still waiting here for a welcome letter from the NVC. Same here. Lots of earthquakes in Bogota, here in Bogota. Yes, there's lots of earthquakes it was just east of Bogota, and our apartment was shaking. Stuff was falling off the clock fell off the wall. The TV, we got a big flat screen TV that Karina's brother mounted to the wall, that came out. So we're gonna probably just take the flat screen TV down. We're gonna take it down and put it on a stand and then fix the wall. Because that's not, that's our rental apartment. We're going to be leaving Colombia soon. She's going to be leaving Colombia soon. So she's basically been painting and painting, and now she's going to have to fix holes in the walls because of an earthquake. And there was a lady from Venezuela who tried to climb out of the 7-story window of her apartment, and she fell to her death. And it was on video. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. Earthquake. It was a horrible thing. So let's see here. God Power Thomas. I asked the Senegal embassy for invoice. They replied I should keep surfing the website. Okay, so they gave you directions, right? So what they're telling you is in Senegal, you got to keep waiting for an opening for an interview. When an interview date frees up, then you're going to get the invoice number. Then you can process the visa. Faith A is poverty guidelines change 2023. The poverty guidelines will change March of 2024. In March of 2024, that's when the CDC will publicize the new poverty guidelines. Okay, so if you're in the middle of a K1 visa process and your income is good right now, but it may not be in March of 2024. So between now and March of 2024, you want to try and get your interviews done and everything all wrapped up before the poverty guidelines change. And with inflation the way it is in the United States of America, because our Congress keeps spending money that we don't have, inflation's going out the roof. I've got a feeling that the poverty guidelines are going to increase in cost, in price, in dollars. Guy Trainer, what vaccines are required to ensure entry into the USA? There are no vaccinations required to gain entrance into the United States. I would make sure the COVID is covered. That's probably the only mandatory one. What's required is to get the green card, you got to have vaccinations to get the green card. You don't have to have any vaccinations to fly into America, except for COVID if you're a foreign national on a K1 visa. But even then, I don't even think they're checking. They don't even check. What you need are vaccinations for the green card. No vaccinations, no COVID, no green card. Okay? You can't get a waiver for it. Immigration's not accepting waivers. You can try and get a waiver from it. Maybe you're pregnant and and it would be a danger to the child. That would probably be the only exception. You don't need vaccinations to enter the United States. You do need vaccinations to apply for the green card. Lovely Dantes, what kind of vaccine does my fiance supposed to take, please? You need to contact the civil surgeon at in your beneficiary's home country for that information. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice, okay? But I did make a video. I made a video. If you look through all the videos, I've made over 600 videos. If you look through all the videos, you'll find one that says vaccinations for immigration. I made a video. Watch that video and it will tell you what vaccinations are required. Right now, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. And these are requirements for the green card, okay? The civil surgeon will also tell you what vaccinations are required. The only reason I tell you to get them done in your beneficiary's home country is because it's cheaper. Lovely Dantes, what kind of vaccine? I can't tell you that. My fiance had some issues with X. Denise Jefferson, my goodness, Denise. I tell you what, high five for Denise on that super chat. Denise Jefferson says right here, ladies and gentlemen, she is the strongest supporter of this channel, okay? And Chopper Harley is in second place. But Denise Jefferson says, if it wasn't for your channel support, a lot of us might have walked away at the midpoint. Could be more than possibly. You make the timeline bearable for those of us who lack patience. I'm going to help you guys. I'm going to help you get through this. Thanks to both you and Karina for your service to this process. Denise, the biggest secret to a K1 visa success is patience. If you got patience, you're going to get the visa. It may be patience between NOA 1 to NOA 2. It may be patience between NOA 2 to the welcome letter. It may be the patience between the welcome letter to the ready status or to the embassy interview. Okay? Everything is a patience game. And it's human nature. Human nature is gotta have it now. I want Karina right now in my house in Florida. I want to get married to her today. I want her here. Is it possible? No, it's impossible. Immigration is in control of this whole thing. But I've been through it before in the past. I've been through this K1 visa process before, and I went through the spousal visa through COVID. That was horrible. Not her, not the beneficiary, the process. Okay? So if you hang out with us on the channel, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you through it. I'm going to keep you patient. I'm going to explain to you the process. I'm going to explain to you that immigration has not forgotten about you. It's human nature for a person to want to have communication. You want to hear from USCIS, even if it's we're working on your case. You want to hear from them. You want to hear something. You want to talk to a person on the phone at NVC. You want to talk to somebody at USCIS. You want to have a human interaction, a connection. But immigration, this is the flow chart for immigration. That's the flow chart. This right here is the service center in California. It is a massive, massive government bureaucracy. It doesn't work quickly. It doesn't function fast. It's slow. Okay? So if you hang out with Diego, I'm in the same boat as you, waiting and waiting and waiting. Okay? I'm going to get you through this up here. Mentally, it's not easy to do. Okay? But if you understand that I've been, when, my first K1 visa took 9 months from NOA1 to the visa interview. 9 months. Boom. It was quick. And it's going to be like that again, probably in 2025. Okay? But I went through a spousal visa that was 2 years long. COVID hit. The embassy closed. USCIS closed. NVC closed. The whole world shut down. The global economy went in the toilet, right? Everything went in the toilet. Pardon my French. So I'm in this spousal visa for 2 years. And I get to the end of it. I finally call my pal up I call my friend up in Washington, D.C. and say, look, Mr. Senator, you're going to have to step in. I'm sick and tired of this. So he made some calls and I got her visa approved. And guess what? She just didn't want to come here. She said, no, I don't want to be in America. I decided I don't want to live there. I want to live with my family, my mom, my brother. And I understood that. Okay. But I waited 2 years to hear that. I could have been with Karina already here in the United States. But I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. If all that hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't have been educated on the K1 visa process or the spousal visa process. If I hadn't gone through that nightmare, I wouldn't have learned how to do this like the way I do. And I wouldn't have understood the process like I do. So now, because I have all this experience, it's 8 years. I can give it to you guys for free. And Denise, I appreciate that massive super chat. You never fail to support the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. So that's my story, and that's the reason we got the channel together. Karina came up with the idea in Villa de Leyva in Central Colombia when we were on vacation, and I put it together. Here we are, and I'm going to help you through the process. And let's see, what more questions do we have? So your fiance had some issues with an ex because in India you are forced to marry without knowing the person. And it caused many problems. What does the FBI look for? Maybe that's the delay. So your fiance had some issues with an ex. Now, is your fiance the sponsor in the United States who married an Indian national that came to the United States on a green card in the past? Is that what you're telling me? Tell me a little bit more, because then I can answer your question. So your fiance had issues with an ex because in the India you are forced to marry. So your sponsor, who's an American citizen, was married to an Indian citizen in the past and they got a divorce? I need to be more specific. Jason Mabry, do you think the unrest in Niger and surrounding countries, like the Sudan, will affect processing in Ghana? No, no effect at all. No effect at all. Ghana keeps their nose out of everybody's business. We got a great working relationship in the United States with the country of Ghana. They do their thing. We do our thing. We help Ghana when they need help. They don't stick their nose into the business of Niger or Sudan. They keep their business to themselves, and everything's moving smoothly in Ghana. Paya Paya, India. Hi, Diego. Thank you for all you do. Raj, are you here? So Paya Paya is looking for Raj. Raj, where are you? And Paya Paya, India. How to remain calm while waiting for NOA2 and not to overthink it. And what point should we get Congress involved? Okay. The only time you would involve Congress in your K1 visa process if you have been waiting 6 months or 5 months longer than you're supposed to for your NOA2. So let's suppose it takes 12 months right now from NOA1 to NOA2, and you're still waiting for a year and a half. That's when you get your congressman involved. If you've been waiting 6 months or longer past the normal processing time. Okay. Lovely. Okay, thank you so much. Cecilia Gomez, can I quit my job after my K1 interview? You can quit your job now if you want, Cecilia. Cecilia, are you the beneficiary, right? Which country? Remind me again which country you're in. If your sponsor is taking care of you financially, you quit your job now. Immigration recommends that you don't quit your job until after the visa interview to make sure you get the visa, which I'm sure you will. But if you're confident in getting the K1 visa and your sponsor is going to help you out financially, go ahead and take you a vacation. Cecilia, will it affect beneficiary getting the green card? No. Cecilia, immigration do not care what the beneficiary does. The immigration don't care if you're working, if you're not working. What they care about is that your sponsor can support the beneficiary once he or she gets to the United States of America. That's all they care about. Okay? That's all they care about. So, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, if your income is sufficient, or if you're not, and you need a joint sponsor, get a joint sponsor. If you're taking care of your beneficiary, that's all they care about at the embassy. Because remember, when you get the K1 visa, you're leaving your country, right? Whether you're in India, whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in Barbados or Colombia or Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, wherever you are watching us in the world, Australia, New Zealand, England, wherever you are, you're going to leave your job. Karina's going to quit her job, and she's going to come to the United States, and we're going to get married, and then I'm going to be responsible for her. And then she wants to start a business. She's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. Karina's an entrepreneur, I tell you. Her work ethic is unbelievable. She works hard, okay? When she gets here, her work ethic is going to make her a millionaire within probably 5 years. Just my opinion, okay? I see it. Everybody watching this channel, if you are a beneficiary living in a foreign country, you're watching us from whatever country in the world you're watching us from. When you get to America, you have an opportunity to become a millionaire too. You just got to work for it. It doesn't come to you. They don't hand it to you. It's not given to you as a gift, okay? But the opportunity is here. You just got to seize it and take the opportunity and go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, okay? Like if you live in the Philippines, if you live in a little village in the Philippines and you're used to, getting up in the morning and saying hi to everybody, and you can hear the roosters and you see the chickens, you're going to be in a different culture, a different life in America. And if you're in England, let's suppose you live in a little village in England somewhere, and you want to do something great, but you just don't have the opportunity to do it. In America, you will. America has got plenty of room and plenty of space, and you can do anything you want. That you can be anybody and do anything you want. Okay? You just got to work for it. It doesn't come easy. You got to work for it, but you can do it. Let's see here. Paya, I am watching, and you're in India, right? Alex Mo, Diego, do you know how long? Oh, Dominican Republic. DR means Dominican Republic. I'm good at deciphering these secret codes you guys throw at me. Dominican Republic. Do you know how long is taking for a welcome letter? Well, the welcome letter is all a process from the National Visa Center. That's taking about 3 months, okay? But the Dominican Republic are processing K1 visas pretty quickly. I'm on my 2nd month of waiting. So you got about another month to go before you get the welcome letter. And then everything's going to move fast for folks in the Dominican Republic. And Duresi Bittencourt, hi Diego, already scheduled my interview. Beautiful. September 12th in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Thank you so much for your service. No problem, Andresi, and congratulations on scheduling your visa interview in Rio de Janeiro. Now remember, in Brazil, okay, you got to have 8 months or more time left on your beneficiary's passport. Okay, got to have 8 months. Every embassy in the world says 6 months or greater. Brazil is the exception. You got to have 8 months or more time left on your beneficiary's passport. Okay. Also in Brazil, your beneficiary is going to have to sign a letter of singleness in front of the consular officer at the visa interview. So she's at the visa interview in Rio de Janeiro. She's going to print up this letter of singleness. I'm going to call it letter of singleness. Is a Portuguese translation for that. I'm not going to try and tell you what it is in Portuguese, but she will sign it in front of the immigration officer. Okay, that's the only embassy that requires that. But congratulations, Andresi. Vivian Chiamaka Uzama. Hi, Diego. How are you doing, Vivian? I'm doing fantastic. Cecilia Gomez, can sponsor quit after K1 interview? Okay, now remember, listen up, Cecilia. Your sponsor has to put down a job. What's his or her job? What's his job? When he applies for the green card. Okay? Apply for the green card, get that going, and then quit the job and look for something else. Don't quit a job until you have applied for the green card and everything's in process. Okay? But remember, he needs to be working, okay? Or else you need a joint sponsor. But yeah, sponsor can quit, but don't do it until after the green card is in the mail, the process, the adjustment of status, and look for another job. And Denise Jefferson, again, thank you for that fantastic super chat. And yeah, you say we make the timeline bearable for those of us who lack patience. Yeah, it's not an easy process, Denise, to go through this. And the biggest problem people have is the waiting part, okay? But let me tell you this, once you get through the process and the K1 visa's in the passport and you guys are, at the courthouse or the church or wherever you guys are getting married at, all this stress will be gone. You won't even remember it. It'll be in the history books. And you get through the process. I'm going to help you. I'll help you through it. Like people keep asking me, Diego, did you get your welcome letter from the NBC? No, still waiting. It takes 90 days, 100 days. I'm looking September, sometime in there. Let me see. So I don't want to miss anybody. Andresi, correct. It's all set. Okay, so I was right on the embassy in Rio de Janeiro, right? Punet Kaur, my NOA2 was June 29th. When do you think I'll get my welcome letter? Well, let's see. NOA2 was June 29th. So let's say July, August, September. So the first week of October. You'll get it in the first week of October. Unati Goswami. My fiance case for visa went to Mumbai, India, the consulate. It won't go to the embassy. The embassy's in New Delhi. But Mumbai is the consulate. That's where the K1 visas are processed. And it didn't go to the MVC. Why was that? Well, it went to the MVC. They just didn't tell it. They just didn't stamp it somewhere. Trust me, nothing happens without going through the MVC first. Okay. At the MVC, that's where they do the police security check on the sponsor. That's where they do the FBI check on the sponsor. Okay. It passed through the MVC. They just didn't tell you. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Unati. So do you understand Unati, right? It went through the MVC. Okay. It went there. Vivian. Hi, Diego. Missed my question. Okay, Vivian, I'm looking. Can the sponsor quit the job after the K1 interview? Don't do that. I just answered the question. Don't do that. Vivian Chiamaki. I've seen a lot of filers getting their case numbers. Do you think a case number depends on one's country's embassy? Yes, because each embassy is different. Every embassy is busy. The embassy in Switzerland is not as busy as the embassy perhaps in Mexico. That's correct, Vivian. Guy Trainer. If I have a ready status, CEAC account, and medical exam, can I have my interview without my welcome letter? Yeah, you can, but email the embassy and explain that you don't have it. Tell them you gotta have a paper trail somewhere. Okay, immigration live around evidence. They revolve around evidence. Immigration says, "Where's your welcome letter?" I don't have it. Did you notify us? Yes. Here's the email. Okay, boom, you're good to go. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to have a paper trail. Michelle Marie. Once it says ready, we can move forward with the DS-160 and everything? Yes, absolutely. Our case was in transit 8:15 and showing ready 8:18. So it took 3 days, Michelle Marie, to get from the MVC to the embassy. So that's a pretty quick plane ride. Which country are you in, Michelle? What country are we talking about here? It really helps people if you identify the country you're in and then you give out this information. Tunisia. Okay. So Tunisia is that's in North Africa, right? That is processing visas quickly. So you had a rapid turnaround. Great information. Okay, guys, I've been talking for 1 hour, 27 minutes. Thank you guys for the super chats. You are greatly appreciated. It really helps the channel. It supports the channel significantly, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'm going to say here, let me see. Unati, okay, thank you. Also, how many days will it take for the process to be done in consulate? Let's see which country. Let me see. Mumbai. It takes about 8 weeks in Mumbai. Kaiser, thanks, Diego. Appreciate your help. No problem, Kaiser. Denise Jefferson, thanks to all for sharing your progress on your personal journeys. Yeah, it's very important. You guys sharing this information helps other people. The updates give us hope that our day will be soon come. That's right. Congratulations and blessings to all those who are in the home stretch of this process. That's very important. It's very important, guys, that you stay positive through this K1 visa process. You be happy for those people that get this done because your turn will come. And then those people who are in the pipeline behind you, they will be happy for you when you get your visa. Okay? You are going to get your K1 visa, guys, unless you got some massive criminal infraction somewhere and you didn't tell immigration about, and they catch it at the MVC. Okay? I'm serious. You're going to get your K1 visas. It's just a matter of when, right? When? Karina's going to get her K1 visa. Do I know what day? I have no idea. I got no clue. But do I worry about it? No. Why? Because she's going to get her K1 visa. See you guys. And Paya Paya, I love you. Thank you, Paya Paya. We love you too. In India, Vivian, thank you, Diego. Jeff Mantalk, thank you for all the good info. Onati, thank you. Hajar, thank you a lot. And Michelle, thank you. I appreciate your help so much. Guys, it's Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. Have fun. Don't let this immigration thing stress you out. Don't let it stress you out. You're going to get your visa. Enjoy the weekend. And I'll be back on Monday at 7 p.m. And we will see you Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. All right, guys? And we'll see you then.